Hello, it's Eric from E.M.B.R, and today we're doing Tour de Zwift, the standard ride on Libby Hill after party. This one was pretty quiet in the beginning, but that final climb, the E.M.B brothers, age 14 and 18, I launched my best attack, but they were up to the task. And because not much happened in the laps around Richmond, I'm going to mostly just time lapse and actually cut out portions of that. I am going to show a few things that I think are a little bit interesting about pack dynamics in a group ride, which maybe they need to fix before they implement in racing. But beyond that, I'm going to mostly cut through that and get to the end where it gets a little bit more exciting. The only thing of note that really happened in the beginning on the lead-in was I picked up a feather. But outside of that, I just tried to settle in the draft, stay in zone 2. I didn't really get much of a warm-up before this, so I was just hoping to take these laps as a warm-up for what was to come later.
Keep the pressure off my quads. I will need them for the end.
And what I meant by keep the pressure off the quads is I'm going to try to deal with any power situations, like here popping up over 400 watts for a bit on a surge. Try to deal with that with cadence rather than torque. You can see I'm just sustaining over 100 RPM, not really putting pressure on the quads, keeping with the little surge here, not too much stress. Want to keep the legs fresh. The other thing I'll note here in a second is when this banner comes up, I'm going to keep the feather. I haven't used it. My intention is not to use that feather unless I absolutely need to. I don't want to gamble. I want to have it for the final climb. But outside of some surges like that, these initial laps were pretty quiet. The main thing I was noticing was because Tour de Zwift is structured as a group ride, pack dynamics are on, and we're definitely getting pushed around. It's a bit bumpy.
Feel like maybe the new pack dynamics are on in this group ride. Race. Definitely getting pushed. 8-ton collision boxes feel big. Look at that. How hard you get pushed. Thump, 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 thump. Elbows flying everywhere.
Lap 2, and there's another surge. Two things about this surge. One, I'm solving it with cadence again. Low 100s, high 90s, pushing high 300, 400 watts. Few things. One, I'm marking these attacks because it's a lapped race and we're lapping part of the field because it's a mass start. So I'm trying not to lose anybody in the mix of the crowd, and that's why I'm marking this a little closer than I might otherwise in a different situation. The other thing here is the collision boxes again. Like anything that happens, there you go again. He bumped me right out of the wheel I was in. I'm I'm hard steering with that orange, you can see, trying to push him out. It's kind of again throwing elbows, but you can see the draft drop all the way down to 0 there because I'm just getting pushed, like boxed out, knocked out, and I'm trying to steer back in just to keep draft and keep things efficient. And it's definitely a little bit odd, it's pack dynamics. And one last example, and then I'll get off my soapbox. But yeah, this definitely doesn't need to go live in races.
Look at that. Look at that. How stupid is that?
And it's worth noting, yes, I realize you can fall to the back like I am here and avoid some of that churn and pushing. But because it's this lap race format again, and it's hard to tell who's on the current lap and who's someone who you're lapping, I'm trying to stay very near the front so I can see if anybody's sneaking off. And as we pass under the lap 4 banner, this is one of the examples that I'm talking about with someone trying to sneak off the front. We come under the banner, you can see I'm up on the power a little bit. That's because all these lap riders that we're passing, there's someone who took some power up and through that. And only because I was watching the front quite closely did I even see it happening. There he is right there just in front of me. Looks like he shut it down, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid.
I'm fine with mass category, and I'm fine with crit, but mass category and crit, that is not a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. It's hard to tell who's who and where's where.
The Criterium race mixed into my mass category. Not delicious. And with all my complaining about either pack dynamics or crit race mixed with my mass start, you'd think I hadn't enjoyed myself at all during this race, but honestly, it was fairly sedate. There's a little, some surges like this, small surges. Yeah, I was honestly having some fun with zone 2 and just trying to prepare and get set up for the final kick. But as we finally exit the laps from Richmond, you can see from the graph at the bottom, it stayed fairly quiet. A couple surges here and there. A little surge here again as we come under the banner. I'm just trying to watch the front now, watch it closely in case someone tries to take some speed into the descent. Yeah, just very watchful for any breaks going forward from here. But the descent itself stays fairly quiet, and the flats after pretty much as well. There's one last thing I'm a little concerned about though.
It's 2 little bumps before the big bump are dangerous for long power.
And sure enough, as soon as we get to the first one, there is a surge. And as soon as I see that, I am snapping to the front quickly. I do not want to be relying on anybody else to chase this back, and I do not want a gap of air between me and them. Like here, I am staying with them, but I have 160 plus watts of draft, so it's all good. I'm working, everybody else is working too. Yeah, very much on the power, high cadence again, trying not to solve it with too much torque. And here I'm coming off, you know, cadence is dropping because my power is dropping. But shut that down in 2 kilometers to go. But inside 2 kilometers, the gloves are kind of off. Speeds do pick up. They're not crazy yet. They're getting a little fast though for sure. I'm trying to stay in draft. A little more pack dynamic shenanigans here. You can see me get bumped out into the 0 again. I'm having to try to hard steer with that orange to get back in. This just is the way it is. I'm getting knocked into the pillars there. Normally I could stay right in the middle. We're not. Mostly, all that aside, the pack dynamics aside, just trying to stay in draft, set up, wait for that big hit to come. And off the front here, you can see someone starts to go. I know I got to get snapped to that. We're within 1 kilometer. I'm not really looking to push from here yet. I want to push on the climb, but I don't want someone to have a long 5-second gap or something like that when we get there. So another sprint, long power, in the wheel, pushing a little harder than I wanted. I really wanted a hard 1-minute effort once we got to the climb. But you gotta go. You can't give someone a lead out on this. But we're getting in on the final climb, so I'm gonna shut up now and let live audio take over.
Ah! 1 minute. That's impressive. That's impressive. Ah!
Yeah, that was a super impressive push by the E.M.B.R brothers. The 18-year-old brother is the one who zoomed past me at the end. 14-year-old was pushing hard. I was fading pretty fast, but great ride by both of those guys.
I wasn't watching if anyone's coming close or not. I was just hitting it hard again, fading, trying to mitigate how much I faded. But the legs were absolutely burning, even though it was zone 2 up until then. That's a 1 minute push that's very, very hard. Oh, I feel it now more after the fact than during. The glutes want to tie up hard.
But here are the results. You can see, again, the E.M.B.R brothers, first and third, pushed huge watts, 20-minute, 4.1 and 4.5. You can see me on the flip side being pretty efficient, 3.5, despite the pack dynamics. I was working very hard to keep as much draft as possible. So I had the legs to push at the end like that, and still wasn't enough. Super impressive by those two, super impressive.
I faded really hard I went out hard too, but I wanted to use the feather when I had the most juice in the legs. Knew I was gonna fade, hoped not that much. When he came past me, I just had no snap. I was already at maximum. I need to put a HR Max up on that top bar somewhere. I think I probably came close to capping it out on that last push. This part right here is just, it kicks up and it just hurts at the end. It's like, and I lose, like, is this the bend before the banner? Is this the bend before the banner? I hope it's the bend before the banner. Before my legs come to a screeching halt. This is the one where I always think, this might be the end. Nope. And it's such a slow turn. You're like, banner? Banner? Oh. Alright. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's see what we got. None of that mattered. None of that mattered. That's what it was all about. Right there. Somewhere in there. Maybe that says 192, maybe it doesn't. I can't read it. I definitely came near max, if not absolute. It happens after the heart rate lags, but 192, we did peak out. It was all, this is all it was. The rest of this was fairly tame, as you can see. All about that. And that would tell you, at my best power, I could go up that in a minute, maybe slightly less, but after some effort's been put in, like not a fresh, that was a fresh leg 1 minute on like Zwift Academy or something like that, or baseline is where that 710 or that 749 comes from, I believe. If you look further out though, there you go, at 130, this is the thing, is it's not just a 1 minute effort, it's what the lead into it as well. And for that, you can find. So that's good. We'll take that.
But here are the full metrics from intervals. Great app, by the way, if you haven't used it before. Kind of replaced everything from Training Peaks and Strava for me. Great data on torque, on cadence, on heart rate efficiency, all sorts of things. But that's it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. We'll see you next Tuesday for Shimano Pioneer Fast on Outer Scotland. Hopefully that'll be a good one as well.